awake yet? Well, hold on. Let me try something. All right. So what's going on, guys? So yeah, Immortal Fenyx Rising. Going into this game, my expectations were super low, given Ubisoft's history with open world games and what they've done to like the Assassin's Creed series. I expected this to be like a half-ass ripoff of Breath of the Wild, with like a big agonizing checklist open world type of deal, but it was actually way better than that. It's a great game. I'd say it's even better than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
You need to leave!
Trust me, like I would think I was insane if I was hearing myself right now before I played this game, but after playing it, I'm a believer now. Um, and I'm a big fan of the Legend of Zelda series, but the new one, the Tears of the Kingdom, didn't scratch that itch for me. And Breath of the Wild just felt like a glorified tech demo of what's possible. Um, but let's focus on this game. So I'm gonna go over the good, the bad, and the bullshit of this Immortal Fenyx Rising. So let's go over some good things. The story. The story was all right. It was serviceable, a good reason for you to be out there and exploring. It has its basic plot twist, some things you can see coming from a mile away. I mean, it's nothing special, but the voice acting in this game is top notch. It's pretty good. So the lines, it's kind of tongue in cheek. Some of the lines don't land, some do, and the best it got out of me was a chuckle. I mean, it wasn't like a belly buster; it was rolling on the floor laughing. But yeah, it got some laughs out of me. And the two narrators in the background, which are Zeus and Prometheus, they narrate like your adventure or little side quests that you're on, and help add like lore. It's Greek mythology, so it's like Greek lore. They add that in the background, which I thought was a very nice touch. And then the graphics, dude, this game is gorgeous. Most of my playthrough, I was going through it on very high, but even on the lowest settings, this game still looks phenomenal. Uh, and it's because of the art style that they went with. It goes great with Greek mythology. Um, so yeah, and then also you can customize your HUD, so you can have a completely blank HUD, very immersive, or you can turn everything on. But even with a lot of the HUD on, it's still pretty immersive game, and it doesn't look bad. And yeah, now for the combat. The combat is a lot of fun. It's not too deep. It's more deep than the Breath of the Wild series of games, but it's not like a Dark Souls or anything like that. But yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking. It's engaging. You have your standard fare, so you can parry, dodge, heavy or light attack, and then you can get a perfect parry or a perfect dodge, stuff that you're used to. And it also has a combo meter, and you get god abilities as well. So that helps you spruce up the combat a bit, add some player expression in there, so it's not just too dull. And yeah, it was great. And then also when you kill enemies, they go flying off into the sky, which I thought was an odd choice, but I mean it's pretty goofy, but it's cool. It's whatever. But yeah, I really appreciate combat mechanics like these. I don't get tired of this type of combat. Um, the more you go through the game, the more you run into the combat. But at the beginning, There's like fights here and there. It's more sparse or scarce. But yeah, so the combat's more scarce in the beginning, but towards the end, once you start leveling up, you're gonna be running to enemies a lot. So it's good that the combat is nice and engaging. Next, I'm gonna go over the exploration. So they really nailed the sense of discovery in this game. There are like hidden caves that contain chests, optional boss fights, semi-dungeons that are like shrines. They're like shrines from Breath of the Wild, the semi-dungeons. And then the new armor and weapons you can find, they each have like perks attached to them. So you can make your own custom builds. You can't go too crazy like a full-fledged RPG, but you can still do some creative builds. And then they even allow you to change the appearance of the weapons and armor. So if you like the appearance of one weapon, you can match that to the current weapon that you're using, and then but keep that current weapon's perks as well. Same with the armor. And then yeah, while you're out and about, you'll find like environmental puzzles that aren't too challenging. They do make you think a bit at times, but most are pretty easy to solve. And it's a nice change of pace to the exploring. So I really did like that as well. And then yeah, the optional boss fights. Now those is where the crux or most of your challenges are going to come from in this game. Um, there's different tiers of optional bosses. So there's some that are like super hard, like in-game optional boss, and then there's some that you'll find it's just like a legendary version of an enemy that you fought before, but it's just more health and different moves. We'll have like a couple different moves that'll be added to the repertoire and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the level design is what makes exploration so great in this game. Like as you can see, there are like tall mountains, deep canyons, caves hidden in the crevices of hillsides and shit like that. So like if you pay attention to detail, you'll find more hidden secrets, and it just adds to that immersion. It wants you to just dig deeper and explore more. I'm going on an adventure! But yeah, and then also this game is on Game Pass now. So, all right, and then yeah, now I want to go over what I found bad about the game. Just a couple things. So, one is that it's slightly repetitive. So the puzzles can get a bit repetitive. The enemies kind of do. There's a good variety of enemies, but a lot of them are just repeats. But once you go to like different areas, you'll only face certain enemies like in that area. So if you spend a while in one area, you're gonna get kind of tired of fighting those same enemies. But when you make it to a new area, then it's more fresh, and it's different enemies, so it gets more fresh. But yeah, biggest thing I really didn't like though was the whole ending sequence. So I won't spoil anything, but so at the end, after you save the four gods, there's a new place on the map that becomes accessible for you. It's like a big snowy mountain. I did like the area. It was a very Christmas-esque vibe, very comfy. I did like it a lot, but it drags on. So once you get to the top of that big snowy mountain at the end, there's a boss fight at the very top, and I think it had about 3 phases. Maybe it didn't, but it felt like 3 phases, and each of those phases just kind of drag a bit. And then after that boss fight, you get teleported to the final area, which is just a vault. And you go in there and you fight another easy boss. And then after you beat him, you go to these 5 different sections where you solve puzzles. And each time after you solve a puzzle, you're going to fight another group of enemies. But these are tougher, so it does take a little bit of time. And then after that, once you do all 5 sections, you go fight the final boss. And then while you're fighting him, there's these cutscenes that play like during the fight, which just like holds the progression and just drags it out even more. So yeah, that ending was like a big head scratcher for me. And then yeah, the bullshit. So the obvious bullshit I want to address with this game is that it's just a Breath of the Wild ripoff.
You're a fraud!
Now, while this game does wear its inspiration of Breath of the Wild on its sleeve pretty heavily, it's not just like a Breath of the Wild at home or a Breath of the Wild from Wish or a Breath of the Wild from Timu. This game has its own great identity and adds ideas, even some things that ended up being in Tears of the Kingdom, like the caves and everything, which is awesome. And I feel like this game was more catered to like classic Zelda fans that kind of went more the classic in the Breath of the Wild series. It really had things like a deeper combat system, more rewards, like secret items, things like that that were lacking, or that are lacking in these new Zelda titles. So not only that, but you can uncap the frame rate in this game and play at higher resolutions. So this game feels more premium than a $70 Nintendo game. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about the game. But I'm a big Zelda guy myself, and Tears of the Kingdom really didn't scratch that itch for me like I really wanted it to, and it doesn't really feel like a big premium game or big enough of a step up from its previous installment. But this game really filled that void for me. It's a lot of fun. It's goofy. It's a good time. It's on Game Pass, so the barrier of entry is very low. So why not take a risk? But yeah, if you played the game, just let me know in the comments down below if you liked it or if you hated it, or if you think I'm wrong and I'm an idiot. Also comment that down below. But at any rate, my name's Bando. You can catch me streaming from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Twitch, and that's Central Time. And yeah, with that, I'm out. Take it easy.